Well, good morning, everybody. It is, see if I can arrange the camera here a little bit. It is still Sunday morning. The electricity is out here again. It was out a number of hours yesterday. It is out right now. So I'm going to kind of show you something a little different. I'm going to show you a survival meal. Let's say the electricity is out for days. You know? Weeks even. If you think that's not possible, then you're not living in the real world in 2019, because all that is really possible. I'm going to tell you a few things here that I have done for years and years and years. And all you've got to do is go to the local grocery store. And I know in the Philippines here it's a lot more difficult because they do not stock items that I would list as kind of survival type items that you can store and be able to keep for a long period of time. And that, and we've got chickens running around here. Anyhow, I'm going to show you what I'm kind of eating right now. I've got some Spam here. I put this together this morning. Here is actually some dressing. Okay, chicken dressing and some mashed potatoes, and all that brown stuff you see here is gravy. And that's kind of been my breakfast this morning. And what happened, we cooked a wild chicken last night for supper. So what I did was I thought I'd throw a few survival items in that's been kept here a long time. And the one thing, and where they come from. Here we go, Petridge Farm. This is stuffing mix in a plastic bag. Okay? The purchase date here goes back to 2016, so get an idea of this is what, 9/18/2016, of actually probably how old this is, and also how well it keeps. A lot longer than any of the expiration dates on these items and that. So I took this, I followed the directions, heated up some water, took an onion, a whole onion, cut it up, sliced it up, took some celery, sliced it up in there with some butter, and I cooked it to a boil, and all I did was pour this whole bag in there. Voila! I've got dressing. And very good dressing, a matter of fact, it turned out. The Filipinos won't eat it. Like I said, they're so stuck in their world of rice and fish and pork that a lot of things that we eat in America and really are considered treats than that, they just won't eat, or some of them won't even try. But I took this and I made the dressing that you actually see here and that. And then, of course, when I did that, I took some Idahoan mashed potatoes, again, in a plastic bag. And and some of this stuff has been sent to us by our viewers. I took and followed the directions with a cup of water, boil it with some butter in there, throw this whole pack in, stir it around, and make mashed potatoes, and pretty good mashed potatoes. You know, kind of hard. But in a survival situation, who cares? It's food, and it's nourishment, and it will keep you alive, period. In the Philippines here, do not buy this unless you can store it in a container that you can seal away from the bugs. Because the bugs here, the ants, whatever, they get into everything, and they'll chew holes in the packages here, and especially for long term. Anything in a plastic package here, store in a container that you can seal to keep the bugs out, and you'll be safe. I do it with all the stuff like this. As you can see here, I've got a full container and that. So we've got this, we got the beef gravy, we got the mashed potatoes, and so I made myself up a supper last night along with a chicken and that, and actually used some of the juice from cooking the chicken as part of it. Yeah, a couple of cups of that in the dressing really added some good flavor to the dressing. Wow. Anyhow, there was leftovers. So this morning, I made a hamburger type patty out of the leftover mashed potatoes. I made a hamburger type patty, okay, out of the leftover stuffing. And I opened a can of Spam, and if you don't know what Spam is, you haven't been alive for the last 70 years. It's a staple in my household basically because it's excellent survival food. Excellent. And to have just a whole pantry full of just this alone is probably a pretty good idea. And then I mixed up some gravy from a gravy pack like I showed you, and voila. And I cooked it on the stove, and all at once I had heated mashed potatoes, I had heated stuffing, I had gravy over the whole thing. Absolutely excellent. All this stuff is out there, and especially for you Americans and you Australians and that are living there, going to any grocery store, you can find packaged goods like the potatoes. Beef and herb gravy. Thank the Lord, they have that here in the Philippines. And I buy it 10, 15, 20 at a time, and we eat a ton of it. It's good. Got a good flavor to it. And it adds flavor to the meat. And guess what? I've got visitors here. Are going to be going after my food here. Rice meals. Ready rice. I mean, roasted chicken flavor. There's stuff you can make here. And of course, the old-fashioned, what I call ramen noodles, because that's what they're called in the States and that. But you got chicken, you got spicy chicken, you got beef, you got spicy beef, noodles and that, and always comes in handy. I usually have a case of this stored in our pantry here. So all this stuff, and of course you're all familiar with the Spam, all this stuff is available in your local grocery store. If not, go to Walmart. Go to one of your big chain grocery stores. You will see shelves and shelves and shelves of this type of material and that, and all of it can be kept, and it'll keep for an exceedingly long amount of time, and you can make what I call a survival meal. Period. The nice thing about it, once this stuff is made, you can eat it cold if you need to. Kind of hard to make it without heat though, because you got to heat a lot of this stuff up in order to be able to mix it. But in a survival situation, the chances are your stove or some form of stove is going to be able to work, and you can cook a meal. I keep a lot of this on hand all the time because I really believe that if you have not got 2 to 3 months of food on hand in this day and age, and this is now May 2019, boy, you're not reading the news, period, and you're not up with any of the type of current events, because stuff could come down in a hurry and change your life in a hurry, and the things that you take for granted. And one fortunate thing about living in the Philippines is a lot of that has taught me of the things I did take for granted all the years. A simple thing such as water. Turn on a faucet, it's there. Boy, oh boy. And now we're in a drought, we're carrying water, period. We buy all of our drinking water because I cannot trust the water otherwise. This is all part of what's happening in the world today. So the next time you go to the grocery store, think survival food. What can I buy that I can, and you don't have to go out and buy the store out. Every time you go shopping, like we do, I pick up 3 or 4 items. Pick it up, bring it back, put it on the shelf and store it so that it's here. Anything in a can has been pre-cooked and sealed, okay? And it's vacuum sealed. That's what keeps it from spoiling. These cans will last years, okay? You have to be careful in a climate like a tropical climate here, because they'll rust. You know, a year or two, they can get pretty darn rusty and that. And I always check over them, and if any of the cans are, I will use that particular product, then replace it. So I just want to get you a little bit into the survival mode, you know? And you may think it's always going to be there, a simple event. And I'm sure if you're in the States right now with all the flooding, all the winter storms in May, yeah, electricity's out, all the tornadoes and everything. Think ahead. Have food on hand. Have water on hand. The basic staples of life you need in order to be able to survive. And like I said, I look at it a minimum of 3 months for your whole family. Don't store this stuff away and never use it. Because the first time you open it, you're going to go, oh, God, this is terrible. Cycle everything through your menus and use it so you can find out what you like to eat, store more of it, and what you completely dislike, take that off your list. And don't be picky, because this is not picky food. This is being able to give yourself at least a minimum amount of nutrition in the event that the stores are closed, the electricity's gone, poof, and you're kind of on your own for an indefinite period of time. That's what it means. I've been doing this for 20 years in my cabin in Montana. I had 22 cases of food. I had 8 to 10 cases of ramen noodles just sitting in my loft. Okay? For what? Just in case. Did it go to waste? It's food. It don't need to go to waste. When I moved here, guess what? I gave it to one of the Catholic churches in Silver City that they could feed the poor with it. So did it go to waste? No, it did not go to waste. If nothing else, if you reach that point where you just kind of want to give up on the storage thing, at least you can give it to people who are going to relish the fact that they've got some food to eat. But please, before you do that, consider the fact of keeping yourself and your family alive in any major event that could occur, no matter where you live. I don't care if you're in Asia here. I don't care if you're in Australia, America, South America, whether you're in Europe or not. Like I said, if you don't know what's happening in the world, you're not listening to the news. Prepare yourself. That money in the bank ain't going to do. You can't eat it. You can't eat them bills. Okay? Get gold and silver. I definitely suggest, if you can't afford it, get gold and silver, but you can't eat it. Hopefully you can trade it for food, but it's better sometimes to have some food. When I lived in the States, I had at one point 2 years food supply for a family of 5. 2,000 canned jars of different produce, you name it, from stews and chilies to asparagus to dill pickles. Oh gosh, let me go down the list. Corn, beans. We had it all. We made our own salsa, made our own ketchup. You can do it. It does not have to be done all at once. You can do it a little bit at a time, and start today. I hope you started yesterday, or the day before, the week before, the month before, the year before. At least putting some food by. If you haven't got a minimum of a month, and I'd suggest a minimum 3 months, for who's ever in your family, who's ever in your household, and that part of the family, which in case of a disaster is going to come back, poof, okay? That you can able to feed them, period, and to feed yourself. What can I say? They're looking at the food on the table here, and they're just hoping that they get a part of it. Yeah, aren't you? Yeah, I know. Just at least they're kind about it. They're sitting here waiting, knowing, oh gosh, am I going to get part of this? Yeah, possibly. Hey, I'll do more on this and more on survival. Like I said, when I said I'm a survivalist, I've been doing this for 25 years, since the mid-'80s. I've got more tricks and stuff up my sleeve that I use and use all the time in that, in cooking and different foods and that, and I'll try to pass that information on. The thing I want you to understand from this is wherever you are, whatever you're doing, start today. The world we live in is changing, and changing faster than any of us can keep up with, and we don't know when we're going to get thrown into the midst of something that we're not prepared for. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Everybody have a good Sunday. I'll probably be back a little later on. Hopefully the electricity will come on, because I can't upload nothing, and likewise it was off most of the day yesterday. And when they shut it off in the morning like this on the weekend, it generally means most of the whole day. So as soon as I can get this uploaded, I'll definitely do it. Until then, God bless every single one of you.